WCB Podcast, your source for all things Chicago Blackhawks and everything hockey. With your host, Jarom and Tanner. Let's do it. Jarom and Tanner.
All right, it's another edition of the WCB Podcast. It's Jarom, it's Tanner. What's up, bud?
Nothing much, man. Just getting ready for some trades.
Trade season is heating up. We are, like 2 weeks away from the deadline, give or take?
Yeah, like 3 weeks maybe.
Let's see.
Is it the 3rd?
Many days until March 3rd.
It's like 18.
18 days as of recording. So 17 days. And when you're listening to this, we are inching closer to the trade deadline, and we'll finally have answers that we've been looking for from Chicago
In about a week, I guess, right?
It's a very interesting situation with Kane and all this, but we'll get into that because there's a lot, I think, to unpackage with his approach to the trade deadline, his comments regarding another trade that happened, and just in the overall general feeling. I'm really curious how you are feeling about it, but before we get into that, real quick, we'll go over. We both really didn't get to watch these games that happened this last week, and it's kind of, I don't know, it's
just busy.
They're playing, yeah, and they're playing shitty teams except for Winnipeg, but whatever. And it's just
true.
But they came back off of the All-Star break with a home game against the Anaheim Ducks, and this was a big battle because Anaheim is 30th in the league in points?
Yeah. They're 30th.
So this was a big one. So, of course, the Hawks have to push it to overtime and get at least a point, which stupid sons of bitches.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Anaheim won that one 3-2. I just thought about something for NHL talk. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I was just trying to think if, I remember watching the overtime, but I don't think I caught, the first 2 periods of the game. And then I feel like I was mostly distracted watching the game, but I was just whenever in OT, when Frank Vetrano was about to score, I was just like, "Oh, this game's over."
Yeah.
They as Isaac Lundstrom, he just kind of was skating around the ozone, and I was just like, "Oh!" And then Vetrano was wide open. I was like, "All right, well, at least we didn't get 2 points."
Yeah, Jason Dickinson. It was all second period scoring besides the overtime. Jason Dickinson got his 8th of the season, Keener with his 26th assists. Then the Ducks tied it up about 7 minutes later. Then Seth Jones, all-star Seth Jones, gets his 5th of the year. Johnson and Dickinson both got their 10th assist of the season. I don't know why I keep saying career assist when I'm talking about season today. God,
I don't know. But Seth Jones still continuing that kind of hot streak he went on going into the All-Star break.
He's feeling it. He's feeling it. I think he realizes that he's about to become the face of Chicago for the last few weeks of the season until we hopefully draft Bedard, and he's the guy now. But Ducks tied it up with about 4 minutes left in the second. No goals in the third. Overtime. Ducks win it. Mrazek was in net for this one, I believe.
Ducks won, yeah.
Yeah, Ducks won. Which, he played solid, 23 for 26, 8.85 save percentage. And again, goaltending is keeping this team in games that they probably shouldn't be in.
Yeah, nothing crazy with those stats, but he has been just a solid goalie.
Fast forward a couple days to Friday, and the Coyotes are in town. Again, another team. This is what February is so important for the Hawks in the terms of you need to lose games, because majority of the games are against teams that are sitting on that cusp of potentially could win the draft lottery.
Yeah.
And push them back farther in the draft. Arizona is one of those teams, and for some reason the Hawks just play well against Arizona.
Well, I think everybody plays well against Arizona.
Not Toronto. Toronto's 0-2 against them.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
But yeah, so
they also beat Boston.
Yeah, I don't get it. They can
Arizona's nasty at home.
Yeah, Mullet Arena, baby. Stay there, man. Stay there.
Let's go. They're
After
they're 11-8-3 at home.
it's not bad.
Oh, 11-8-2. Sorry, so it's even better.
Yeah. Um, Arizona gets on the board with Clayton Keller quickly into this game. Nick Schmaltz make it 2-0. Seth Jones, 6th of the season, cuts it in half. Anthony Ciu ties it up in the second. Third, Blackwell puts the Hawks ahead. Uh, Bukestad.
Yeah,
Holy shit, I nailed one.
yeah,
Awesome.
you actually got it. I was like, are you questioning whether you got it right or not? And then I was
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, you usually do.
He ties it up with less than 5 minutes in the period. No, like less than 3 minutes in the period. And then another Jones, Caleb Jones, wins it in overtime. And to quote Poets, Hawks, you stupid son of a bitches. Um, a game that you probably should have lost in overtime, but whatever. What's big about this one, though, Jackson Stauber becomes the first Hawks goalie in franchise history to go 3-0 in their first three starts with the team. So we mentioned
Is it luck?
Is it luck? Is it what? Like, but
I mean, the Hawks did dominate them on like at least in shots, 44-26 this game.
Jesus.
Yeah. So
Has he I feel like we talk about this every time he plays, but has he pushed himself in the conversation to be a goalie for the future?
I mean, I think that they're not going to overlook him now, but it's kind of at least you have an NHL quality goalie likely for the future. And I don't know if it's considered if he's going to be still considered like their starter of the future, but he's at least good as a backup currently, which is good.
Yeah. It's good. Three-headed horse, like three-headed dog with Camasso, Soderblom, and Stauber. That's going to be nice having options there.
It's good. I think that's such a better like future situation than what we were going into in the 2021 season when it was just like, okay, we got three goalies. It's Delia, Malcolm Subban, and Kevin Lankinen.
Only
it's
one
like,
of those realistic.
Hopefully somebody does good.
And it was like Lankinen should have been probably the guy, like give him the keys and run and let him see it, but whatever. He's doing pretty good in Nashville, I think, this year.
Is he?
I think so. I mean, it's like Nashville's not doing great. So it's like take that for what it is, but
just like I said in the preseason, like they had a bunch of guys with career years last year. So in order to be just as good or better, they would have to have another set of career years. Oh, Lankinen's got a 9.24 save percentage, but how many games has he played?
Not a lot. Because they ride Saros.
Just wanted to see Lankinen on his own, but of course I can't. Let's see. Where is he? He has played 11 games.
Yeah.
Yep. And he's 5-4-0-1.
You'd think after last year, with how much they played Saros and him getting hurt towards the end of the season, they would, lighten his load a little bit. And
no, if you want to make the playoffs, you can't.
It's true. And then the Hawks wrap up the week. They were in Winnipeg, and this game was all Winnipeg. 3 unanswered goals. Tyler Johnson cuts it down to a 2-goal lead, and then Blake Wheeler puts the empty net away.
I mean,
25 seconds left.
I did watch this game, and it wasn't really all Winnipeg as it shows in the score because the Hawks outshot them. It's just Hellebuck was not letting anything past. And it kind of felt like, wow, the Jets are going to shut him out again. And then Tyler Johnson get like a pretty lucky goal. I feel like, I think he was like laying on the ice, like swatting it in.
Let's see.
It was, but yeah, I mean, they had nothing for solving Hellebuck. And like, they did have some close chances that went off the bar and such. Yeah. He was sliding in the ice. I don't know, man. Winnipeg is just a solid team. During this game, Kaner fucking hit Josh Morrissey in the side of the head, dumping the puck into the zone. It was great. And then there was also a fight between Tenorti and Adam Lowry. and it was kind of like a lackluster fight because they threw a few punches and they both kind of stopped. And I think Tenorti was like, "Yeah, man, I don't think my jaw is like
Doesn't Tenorti still
still
have
all
the
there."
mask
Yeah.
on? And
No, he
he's
doesn't have a
fight.
mask.
Oh, he didn't put a mask. I thought he had to have one on. That's
No,
hilarious.
he still didn't. He didn't wear the mask, and they're commenting on it during the game. And I was just like, Jesus, Tenorti, just relax, bud. Like, it's okay. You don't have to go out there and scrap. Oh, it was funny though.
Yeah,
It
Winnipeg,
was
man. What a
it
surprise
was
from you guys.
it was a closer game than the score sheet showed though, and Winnipeg scored some decent goals, so it's not like it was Mrazek's fault either. Hellebuck just kind of was a monster. Josh Morrissey had a. It seemed like he was out there for like 60 minutes, but he was only out there for 22. Like, he's so good.
He's like second on their team in scoring too, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. He's had just a monster season too.
He's got 55 points after this game.
Is Scheifele probably like they're leading their team?
Oh, was it Connor?
I don't think he's having that good of a year. What's Kyle Connor been up to?
Scheifele is having a great season, 32
Yeah.
goals.
Oh, Kyle Connor's got 60. He's got 32. Kyle Connor's only got 24.
Yeah, Scheifele's having a great year. Wheeler's having a pretty good year, kind of like taking the whole being stripped to the sea seriously and just going out there and playing hockey, which probably, hey.
I mean, speaking of Blake Wheeler and Mark Scheifele, they both scored in this game too. Wheeler had 2.
Yeah.
And it was just, man, yeah, the team is solid just throughout, I think. Alan Lowry is always such a pain in the ass.
Just imagine if they picked up Toews and put him in that third line center role, and just have him play special teams and big faceoffs. Oh,
yeah.
God. Winnipeg might jump up to a favorite to come out of the West.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're kind of a dark horse coming out of the West, but there's also second they're third in the West fully and second in our division.
3 points behind Dallas. Dallas is just fucking good, man.
Yeah. Yes.
Colorado's turning it up.
Well, Colorado's like getting healthy.
Yeah, 7-2-1 in their last 10. Jesus.
The other thing too with Winnipeg is they were without Nikolai Ehlers for a long time, and they were still playing really well, and he's back, and that's a huge addition for them.
So they have, let's see, do they have how much space do they have at the deadline?
They have it here. They actually have decent.
Why can I never
find 9 million at deadline cap space?
Dude, they can take Toews 50% conditional first rounder.
I mean,
based on how far they go in the playoffs this year, it's the first round, or it goes to the second for next year.
What if you did Toews at 50 and McCabe at 50 for a first and then like a third
for next year for the 2023 first and third?
Yeah, that'd be hilarious. They'd be without a pick until the 5th round. Then I doubt that would happen, but that would be great.
Yeah, more trade talk here in a little bit. We'll wrap up.
Yes.
Gameplay real quick because there's a lot to talk about. I want to just have like a just straight up trade episode. Like I'm so excited for the trade
speculation.
Yeah. So looking at the Hawks schedule here going forward, it's a little bit mix of emotion. Gets easy, gets hard, gets easy, gets hard. You got Montreal tonight. Then they got Toronto tomorrow. Day off, go to Ottawa to play to bring it for the first time since the big trade. Then they got Toronto on Sunday, Vegas on Tuesday next week, and then in Dallas next Wednesday. We'll be recording probably that day, but still, I mean, that's a lot of hockey to play in a week. And technically only 2 of those could be wins. Technically, on paper.
We'll see. If Jackson Stauber's playing, man, those are dubs. I'll tell you what.
Jesus Christ. Send the kid down, for Christ's
sake. If he plays against Montreal and gets another win, he sits against Toronto, clearly.
No, you put for Mrazek in Toronto. Yeah, you got to play Mrazek in Toronto. Let him revenge game.
then do you go back to Stauber in Ottawa? And what if he gets another dub? They don't have Forsberg and they don't have Talbot in net.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Because I was like, oh, Anton Forsberg just got hurt. Like, I'll pick up Cam Talbot in fantasy. He's already on the IR. Never mind. Yeah, man.
Like,
Ottawa's a little screwed in net.
here's a shitty thing too. Even if Stalock gets healthy and you send Stauber down and be like, okay, cool, Stauber can't win any more games for us. He can't hurt us anymore. Stalock comes in, he steals fucking games too.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck?
Yeah. It's
Razik, you're
gonna
playing every game for the rest of the way. Let's go.
it's not even Rasik's fault that he's
I
losing
know,
these
but for
games.
some reason, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. For some reason, the team just doesn't play when he's in net.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I don't know. It sucks, but we'll see. Yeah, I mean, I would expect them to lose against Toronto, but Toronto does they play to the level of some teams that they play sometimes.
He just lost to Columbus.
Yeah,
They took
and
one for the team, so
I don't
we're
know. Kaner seems to step up when he's playing against Matthews too. So
Is
we'll
Matthew
see.
still out though?
Oh, that's right, he is out. Yeah, I don't know.
What 3 weeks?
Yeah, but that was like pre All-Star
All
break.
Star. So he might be back. He might be back for the Sunday game.
Yeah, in Chicago. Let's see, is there anything about it? He's been skating, it says. It said suffered a knee sprain 2 weeks ago and expected to be out a minimum of 3 weeks at the time. So he could be back Sunday.
Yeah, of course.
So we'll see. If he is, that's okay. Hopefully that's another loss.
All right, 3 stars for the 3 games.
Seth Jones.
Seth Jones. Put him 3.
Jackson Stauber for being the first goalie in Hawks history.
2 or 1.
I don't know. I didn't even think about who would be number 1 anyway.
Jason Dickinson.
Yeah.
And Anthony both have 1 goal, 2 assists.
I don't know. You choose.
Let's go Dickinson. I
Sure.
feel like I don't know. I legitimately forgot about Anthony until I saw him score. He's been like nothing, like literally irrelevant out there. Thought he was going to be a trade piece for us at the trade deadline, and I've not heard one team even show some sort of interest in him.
Yeah. I mean, he could be like that trade happened out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, like with all the trade rumors that have been going around, he hasn't really been in anybody's rumor mill, I guess.
All right. We can go 2 directions. Where you want to go? Do you want to go Michigan or do you want to go trades?
Go Michigan.
Go Michigan. All right. Frank Nazar or Nazar. How are they saying it during that?
I didn't watch it with the volume on.
Oh, it sounded like they were saying like Nazar or something. So maybe we've been saying it wrong this whole time, but I'm sticking with Nazar because it sounds cooler. Made his college debut after what was it, hip surgery? Did they ever say what it was?
No, they never. I don't think I really have any clue what.
He just misses like an entire season and nobody knows what it was. Let's see. To have surgery, miss whatever. That was in October.
But yeah, he's back.
He's back. Brought out the bus bomb on him when he goes zeros on the stat sheet his first college game. But then he had a nice little goal in the second game. And sick little Sully going to the corner, dude. Was he doing the hang loose? Like,
yeah, I
he's
don't know what
going
he
in.
was doing. He's like, call it. Yeah, especially playing against Michigan State, I think a huge rival of theirs.
Was a hip injury.
Okay.
So,
but yeah, I mean, he didn't look hampered by that at all. Like he was moving.
Yeah, he is fast. And what were you talking? You were talking about him a little bit before we were recording.
Oh, somebody had posted his like elite prospects kind of report from the pre-draft where it just talks about how his ceiling is probably like the highest of the draft, and it's like, oh, that's so good. But it also mentions that like when he's on the ice, whatever team he's on looks like it's like a man up situation because he's just that effective, like off the puck and on the puck, and like can just carry the puck in super comfortably, take it everywhere, and like it's just his like ratings he had for like zone entries and possession of the puck are just like almost off the charts. And it's just somebody that can drive the play and just dish it off to people. Oof. Oof.
Ooh, it's getting hot in here.
Yeah, my God. I'm
I
excited.
am so excited. And the fact that he was hurt this year, everybody forgot about him, and that was like golden. Like, don't worry about him. Let him just sneak under the radar. Forget about him. He's not coming next year. He's not coming this year. Let him just
Yeah.
tear it up. And we were saying too before we started recording that it's like it's gonna suck if we don't get Bedard, but we get second overall and we can get Fantilli, and you let those two play with each other for at least next season in Michigan. Oh my God. Like, let's go.
Yeah. Did Fantilli get hurt? Was he just suspended?
I don't see that.
Didn't he not play like the last game? I don't
Uh,
know. They got into like a kind of like a little bit of a throwdown against Michigan State. So I don't know if he was playing or not, but it's exciting. Let's just looking at like the other Hawks prospects that they have, and looks like Gavin Hayes is having a decent year. 53 points in 52 games for Flint Firebirds. Samuel Savoie has 50 points in 44 games. Korchinski still tearing it up, 49 points
oh,
in 36 games.
he did get suspended.
Yeah.
So 15 minutes into the second period of the game on Friday, Adam Fantilli, with his helmet and gloves thrown off, made his way back to Michigan number five Michigan's bench after swinging gloveless at number 15 Michigan defenseman.
Yep.
Whatever. He had a 2-minute minor roughing, 5-minute major for fighting, and a game disqualification, suspending him for the next day. Damn, they take that rivalry seriously. Holy shit.
Yeah. I saw like a quote from their coach that was just like, yeah, they can't compete with us, so they just got to goon it up. Like, oh shit.
Oh man. So that's gonna be, oh God, I'm so excited. I need the draft. I need the draft right now. I need to know where we're drafting. And we fast forward past the like a trade deadline happens and just go
Yeah.
NHL mode and just simulate the
Just
rest of the
straight to the
season.
draft.
Yeah.
Go to the lottery. Yeah.
Oh man. But all right. So speaking of the trade deadline, lots going on, and this is kind of like little like blur the lines between NHL talk and hot stock because it all has to do with Kane. But first, I guess before we get into that, there's reports that Colorado Avalanche #1 trade target is Jonathan Toews. Colorado doesn't have a second or a third round pick this year, which everybody's saying that's all Toews is worth. So how that works?
Who's saying that? GMs? Maybe.
GMs, fans.
Fans? Maybe. But I mean, if Colorado is going to make a move, like I don't know what prospects they have left out like over because
I think Toews is
they
straight draft picks and maybe
yeah.
a bad contract.
Yeah, I mean, if you could take a bad contract and then wiggle a first out of that, but like, who's a bad contract on Colorado right now?
Let's see.
I don't.
Nobody.
Nobody. That's why they're in the position they're in.
Yeah, because all they're really bad. Not bad
I mean,
contract. I mean, they're everybody on Colorado is making what they deserve to be making.
right?
The problem though
And
is next year when McKinnon's deal kicks in, where it'll be this first year, he's
like,
at 12.6.
do you try to maximize your chances this year? And like,
Percent.
maybe a late first is worth it for you to kind of solidify that center core.
If
Like,
you
if you're going into the playoffs missing a huge piece from last year, which was Nazem Kadri, and sure Taves isn't going to be that guy that's going to maybe have the points, but he's huge in clutching situations. I'm sure he would have like some sort of resurgence definitely going into a playoffs on a team that's like meant to like win it all. and he's just going to be the most solid guy playing like the two ways on the ice, like.
And here's the thing, like everybody talks about how, oh, Toews is washed, he's not worth it. You're not getting a 1C Toews. You're
No,
getting
and that's
Toews to be either
not
the
what they
second
need.
line or a third line center that's going to play strictly special teams and go out there for key face-off situations.
Yeah, he's probably going to take a majority of defensive zone face-offs.
You,
Like,
how good can he be when he's not the 1C and he has to play big minutes and put all that extra stress and wear and tear on his body when he's clearly dealing with his health issues still. Like
yeah.
he hasn't played since what, end of December.
Oh, really?
Like I mean he's missed 5 games. He's missed 5 games since
It's
the
like
end of
end of
December.
December. Like, he's played in
Yeah.
January.
So he's missed 5 total games since like December, end of December with this illness.
Yeah.
And he's missed a lot of practice and I mean, so clearly something's going on and he needs that minimal role and just to not be the guy would be huge for him.
Maybe being like second line power play, like it might be first line penalty kill, but third line center.
I mean, that'd be huge. They have 7 million deadline cap space. Does that change when Landeskog comes back?
I don't know.
I don't know how that works, but yeah, so there's talks about him there. Then we keep throwing out Winnipeg, obviously, if we talked about that already. The surprising rumor that had kind of Twitter going crazy a little bit was Jake McCabe, that the
Oh yeah.
Hawks asking price is a first round pick, or if you expect them to retain salary, it's a first plus more.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of people that had a lot of things to say about this. And quite frankly, Davidson needs to hold out for what was said, because he's proved like it's 100% proven what he's worth.
But
Like,
I don't want to. You remember what happened with Eric Gustafson, where they didn't pull the trigger on a trade, and then they ended up getting like a fourth or something from Calgary.
right, but that was he got the right move, got the right offer, and Stan just wouldn't pull the trigger. I think if he doesn't pull, we don't have to trade McCabe.
No, but I mean, if you want
Plus,
to
if
speed up a rebuild a little bit,
right,
like
but like
you probably want to strike while the iron's hot on him, because you can't guarantee he's going to have another successful season next year.
fair, but I still think right now for teams that are desperate, especially if you can get the Hawks to retain 50% and you get McCabe for 2 more years at $2 million.
That's a Hagel type deal.
What team couldn't use that type of player in their top four?
I'm just thinking, like, what does Tampa have left? Because Tampa would just be like, we can have him for $2 million for the next 2 years when we're like so strapped to the cap.
It makes sense though for Toronto too, because Kyle Dubas said that he needs to upgrade defense, but he's not looking for a rental. He wants something with a little term behind it. So you get the Hawks to eat 50% of McCabe's contract signed to Toronto, get Toronto's first and maybe a third.
I mean, that'd be cool. I'm just thinking, like, how come nobody? I'm thinking about it, like, how come nobody's said anything about Tampa making any moves? I feel like that's always the case. Like, nobody has ever heard anything from out of Tampa. They're interested in anybody.
I thought I saw something that they're just looking for depth at this point. Like they're
Yeah,
not looking for like big stuff.
like Jake McCabe, be great. Like, could be top four, could be just a top six, could be on the first line.
What do they have space wise?
They have 700,000. But here's
That's
what I'm
why.
thinking.
Brandon
I
Hagel.
I love Ross Colton on their team, and he's making like a little over $1 million. You make a deal for McCabe centered around Ross Colton. It's just, I don't know. I just want him to be on the team, but I don't think he's gonna. It doesn't fit the timeline.
Yeah, I don't think they would move an RFA.
They already did last year with 2 of them.
Yeah, but you got Hagel out of it.
Yeah, but now you can get Jake McCabe out of it too. You see what I'm saying?
But you traded RFAs for RFAs. Not.
Oh, I mean, I think it was more of the fact that like he was signed to like $1 million for the next like 3 years when that happened.
Trade McCabe
1.5. There we
or
go.
so trade. Oh well, they don't. We already have all their good picks.
Yeah, but we could take everything from them.
I'm like looking. I'm like they don't have their first round pick for the next 2 years. Where's that? Oh yeah, that's right. We have it. I was gonna say give us a first round pick and we'll take like Ian Cole or something for and his $3 million contract that's up after this year. Because apparently, I mean, we're already a problematic franchise. Why not add him to it too? Like
there was no substantial like evidence behind the Ian Cole rumors, so that's not you don't put that on him. Except for I think he did just get fined recently.
yeah, for spearing or something, 5K.
Oh shit! Well, I'm thinking about it. You see the one kid, the Nashville
Whoa,
prospect who
yeah,
got suspended for spearing a fan.
yeah.
Zachary LaRue or whatever.
He was almost out of it. They were gonna clear him and say there's no video evidence, and somebody was like, no, I got it for you, and they sent it in.
What an idiot!
God,
That's so dumb. I was I don't know. So it was Toronto and I don't know who else in on McCabe.
well, Toronto, Edmonton was on
Edmonton's in on everybody, and I don't.
but McCabe has all Canadian teams except Toronto on his no trade list.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
That'd
I
be-
think
that's good.
LA was on him too at one point.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I think they would much rather give up what the Hawks want for him versus what Arizona wants for Chikrin.
Yeah, the asking price for Chikrin is so high, and it makes sense because he doesn't he have. It's not his last year of his deal either,
No, he's got like 2 or 3 years left, I think.
and he's only making like 5 points something.
He got 2 more
No,
years.
4.6.
Yeah.
So like that's an easy contract to eat completely without having somebody retained.
And he's only 24.
Are you serious? Yeah, he's been in the league for like 4 years already.
Dude, he's gonna get fucking paid at this next
Yeah, somebody's definitely gonna overpay him.
Holy shit. And he's a UFA. Yeah, he'll be UFA for it too. Yeah, this will be 27. That makes sense.
So
Anyway,
McCabe might get traded. Who else might get traded?
that's Domi.
So that's the thing we're seeing, like Max Domi. There's a possibility they just extend him,
Which I'd be okay with. I'd be
which
fine.
I would too. But Domi also, because of how he came here just to play with Luke Richardson, I could also see them being like, hey, like, do you want to go on a playoff run and then re-sign? Because I could easily see Max Domi just coming back in the offseason.
Everybody talks about like, oh, trade Kane and just re-sign him in the offseason. I see Max Domi doing that more than I see Kane doing
it. Yeah.
Like, he loves it here. Like, he loves Chicago.
I think he's great on the Hawks. 100%. I really like it.
He wants a long-term deal though too.
He's that kind of player that like nobody likes him unless he's on your team.
100%.
And I love players like that. But yeah, I mean, he's got such a good deal too, where I don't like if the Hawks had to eat some of his contract, they could probably at least maybe get like a late first for him. I forgot what he was traded for last year at the deadline, but I don't think it was that much.
With the Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, Columbus got a prospect. Carolina got Dome and a prospect. In Florida,
oh, it was a multi-team
3-team, yeah, because Florida got Matt Dome. They retained 50% of his salary.
They got Florida ended up with
a 6th-round pick
Korshkov.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
whatever. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like
got traded.
even if he gets just like a second, like that's still good value. If it's a pick for this season, and then just bring him back in the off season, especially like we did mention like a few episodes ago, like him with Kurashev and Reichel was like a pretty good
That was an
line.
awesome line. That was
Yeah.
sick. Another name being thrown out there too is Sam Lafferty, who one insider said that you'd be shocked at what was it Lafferty that they were saying like you'd be shocked at what the value at Lafferty is right now?
Yeah. Like teams are really into him, which is great because like ever since we got him, like I was kind of really feeling him, and then he just was showing more confidence as he was playing, and you can see it now. Like he's flying out there all the time. He's always in the play. He's dangerous. He plays all throughout the lineup. Like that's a guy that you want on a playoff team because if somebody gets hurt, you can put him up on the top two lines. If he's in the bottom lines, you already know what you're going to get. Getting a guy that's going to be busting his ass and creating scoring chances, especially on the penalty kill too. He can play the penalty kill and he can play the power play if you wanted it.
He's got that like Andrew Shaw, like style. Like there's just
and he's fast.
He's fucking fast.
And he's fast.
He's only making 1.15 million. So
and that's a good contract to move too.
Who else wants to get traded? I still think some teams are going to be in on Jack Johnson. I think.
Oh yeah,
he'll be a good depth add for somebody,
especially with the cap. Like it's a good cap add under $1 million.
Oh yeah.
Would the players that I would like the Hawks to trade, like Caleb Jones, I would like them to trade Mackenzie Outwhistle. Honestly, if they traded Blackwell, I would be a little upset if it wasn't like a good value, but I could see like why you would trade him because he's only making 1.2 and he's got an extra year on his contract. I think he's great. It's just he hasn't capitalized on some of the chances that he creates. And it's just like, damn, like I feel bad. Should be on the score sheet more often. Like Kurashev should be on the score sheet more often. He gets a lot of chances. And every game I watch now, I feel like the announcers are like, oh, Kurashev's gotten a few shots off. And it's like, yeah, and he's missing the net.
Or he's kind of got like that. He kind of got that Kubalik going right now, where he's just kind of. I feel like he's snake bitten, where it's like he's getting the opportunity. He's
still just shooting.
Yeah.
But the great thing about it is that he's getting those opportunities, and not a lot of guys are able to create chances like that. And that's another reason I love Kurashev and just the confidence that he's just getting. And he's already tied his career high in points this season with 21, and he's still got 30 something games left. So it's a slow burn, even though he's a minus 28.
He's got to be in the running for the gold jacket or the green jacket.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so the main attraction here we're kind of building up to Patrick Kane.
Oh yeah.
Curious case of Patrick Kane, because this has been a very interesting week of comments from him and he said, she said type of situation where initially came out that Kane was going to make a decision regarding his availability 7 to 10 days before the trade deadline,
which would be like next week.
Yes. Well, in that time, who we all think was the number one target for Kane, the New York Rangers went out and picked up a little guy named Vladimir Tarasenko.
Yeah.
They got
what I'm assuming is a lot less than what Kane is costing.
So they picked him up at 50% retained. So 3.75, I believe, was the hit. There's another player going to New York in that too.
Nico Mikola, or right? I think it's Mikola is his last name. Oh, Mikola. He's like, isn't he huge? Is he the big guy? He's 6'4". Yeah, he's got a big body.
Finland. They got him, and then going over to New York. I'll let you handle names here.
Oh shit. Let me pull the trade up.
Samuel.
Yeah, they got Sammy Blayback.
Yeah.
He was in the trade for Pavel Buchnevich.
Hunter Skinner, defensive prospect. They got a conditional first-round pick and a conditional fourth-round pick. The conditions on the first-round pick is it will be the later of the New York Rangers first and the Dallas first-round pick. And the condition on the 4th-round pick is if the Rangers make the playoffs in 2023, the 4th rounder becomes a 3rd rounder.
So basically a third.
Essentially, yeah.
Because where are they right now? They are. Where is it? Oh, they're 3rd in their division. But they have an 8-point lead over their wild card.
So this trade goes down, and the new was it Chris Drury's their GM, right?
Yes.
Came out basically said that the Patrick Kane and Timo Meyer asking price was going to be too high for their comfort level, so they moved on. Fast forward to the next day after the trade comes out, and Patrick Kane's talking to the media, and he's talking about how disappointed he is because that's not one trade I was happy to see, and because you think about if something could happen, New York was one of those guys, and he kind of has the like, woe is me, feel sorry for me, my destination is off the board now. It's like I get it. You earn the right to dictate when and how this is all going to go down, but you're not Patrick Kane of 10 years ago. Like teams aren't gonna wait for you.
Oh
when,
yeah.
when it's like it's known that there's an injury, like a potential injury issue there, that they're not getting a completely healthy Kane, and they're not gonna wait 7 to 10 days before you to make your decision and to decide what they're gonna do and possibly lose out on players like Tarasenko.
Right.
It's
the same where like you're not seeing a lot of teams in the recent years like actually waiting till the trade deadline to actually make their trades. They have a week or 2 or 3 out.
Great trade for the Rangers, I think. I think that was an awesome pickup for them, and putting him and Panarin together.
Yeah,
Scores
when
first shot.
Tarasenko was the one to say that the Blues should have signed Panarin. He was telling them to sign him years before he came to the Hawks.
Yep, he was recruiting him and all that, and then he goes and he scores in his first shot in his first game in New York in Madison Square Garden, and it's like at this point now, and there's some chatter that Dallas is interested, the Wild are interested, the Hurricanes are interested, and Vegas
Devils.
is interested.
Are the Devils interested?
They're not interested.
They would make sense to
it would make sense to them. We said that they should be interested in our group chat when we were talking about because Jack Hughes going down.
Yeah.
But I don't know about you, but at this point, I don't see a trade out there for Kane. I think he's gonna stick around.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It doesn't bother me if he stays. I've said like I really want him to stay because I would prefer to have, especially him and Toews. I would prefer to have them be Hawks for their entire careers, but like where the team is at currently, it makes sense to move them, but it's not like an emergency because even moving them, you're getting a late first, which in a deep draft is great.
But how often do the late picks pan out?
Yeah, like you're really just trying to hit on something. And seeing, I don't know if there's a comment on Reddit or something, but it's just like the window of re-signing Patrick Kane closes much easier when you make the trade because he has that till the end of the season, not being in Chicago, to not have that kind of like, oh, I can make it somewhere else. I don't have to feel like Chicago's the only place, like, I don't know. I would like for him to stay. I would like for them to get a great return on him. And it's either or. Like, I don't know. I'm just excited to see kind of what happens.
I don't think, like, kind of just looking at the teams I mentioned, like Vegas, I don't know how they make that work money wise.
Yeah.
It just makes no sense. Dallas, they just don't have picks or prospects to make it worth the Hawks moving him. Like, there's like the whole point is to get a good package, and I just don't see anything in Dallas that could make that happen. The Wild, again, another team. I don't understand how. Well, they have 16 million in deadline space,
That's so
and
weird.
they have their first and second pick this year or next year's draft, plus all their picks the following draft year.
And it wouldn't be a far like
It would be
that
like the
far
Marc
from
Andre
home too.
situation.
Yeah.
Um, Carolina would be sick. I would love to see him in Carolina, but I think he wants to stay fairly close to home
Yeah.
because of his family. Um,
You'd think that Buffalo might make a move.
I think it makes sense, all in the condition if he resigns, but at the same time, I understand why they wouldn't. And
Yeah.
if I was Buffalo and you want Patrick Kane, I would just be like, all right, well, let's take our chances. Let's not Stan Bowman this and trade the bag to get him when we could have got him for a lot less in free agency.
There's one team that I just like pulled up now that like intrigues me because you never hear anything about what they're gonna do or what the plans are. What about Seattle?
I thought
Seattle
about Seattle.
Seattle has their first, and then they have 3 second rounders. They
The only
just don't really
yeah,
have cap space, but I mean, you could move any roster player to get Patrick Kane on that team.
the thing with Seattle though too, it's that it goes to the does he want to play close to home or not?
Yeah. But I'm also just thinking about any kind of trades. Like nobody's ever said anything about anybody being rumored to go to Seattle when Seattle has all of this, like
Draft
all of
capital.
these draft, yeah, like all the picks to
They
like
have
make
10. They have
moves.
10 picks next in this upcoming draft.
What if they were just like, we'll take Kaner for Shane Wright? It's like that'd be funny.
Give us your first round, all 3 second rounds, and Shane Wright, and you can have Patrick Kane.
Oh God. Huh. I don't
But
know.
even though like too, like I'm looking at their roster, it's like who would you move on from that? Because I'm like they're having such a good season. It's like
Yeah, it's if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
right, but
Vegas would be cool, but I don't know what Vegas would give up.
Kessel.
Yeah, we're not gonna get Phil Kessel. At least not this season. Next year. What's
Uh,
he? I don't know. Wait, what's his deal? Is he?
he's on 1 year for 1.5.
Okay, next year. There we go.
They have $4,000 in deadline cap space.
That's pretty good.
I've never seen it that low.
Well, wait. That doesn't make sense because they have LTIR. I don't know how it works. Is Mark Stone done for the rest of the season, or is he coming
So
back
I think they are gonna until
indefinitely? He's out.
yeah, until playoffs probably.
Yeah, and Logan Thompson went down too. God damn, he's having a good season. Man, Logan Thompson's gonna make a lot of money in 2 years after this season because he's still got until 24, 25 until his rookie contract is up.
It ain't gonna be in Vegas because Vegas will probably trade him at the last second because he's gonna be too much money.
No, they're gonna trade whoever else they have for nothing.
That's true.
Robin Lehner. Oh, actually, no, their deals end at the same time. Well, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
Don't think
don't
Kane's moving
I don't see who one would make sense or two can afford him and three
where he'd want to go.
afford it where he want to go. Yeah, and then four have the package available
Mm-hmm.
to make it worth the Hawks moving him.
Yeah,
It's like,
we'll see.
do you just trade him to trade him and just whatever? If you get a second round pick for Patrick Kane, you just take a second round pick.
I think if
I
they
know it
don't
won't
get
be that.
anything, then they just resign.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I know it won't be that low, but that's what I'm saying though. It's like, all right, here, we'll give you a second round pick for Patrick Kane. Do you
As
take
like
that or
as like take it or leave it
take it or
because
leave it?
maybe
That's it. Or do you just say, yeah, we'll take them just to trade him to get the pick? Or do you just say, fuck that, let's just extend him?
yeah, just extend them.
Yeah, I think unless you're gonna get someone, I think the Tarasenko
If
trade.
you were to get just like a second or like a very undervalued package for Patrick Kane, the the fans would even go crazier. Just like, how do you do that? Like, how does that make sense? Like, everybody would be pissed. It would make more sense to just re-sign him. Everybody would be like, great. Like, that's, or I'm sure that people are like, how do you not just trade him for like whatever? It's because he's probably the best Blackhawk of all time. You don't really just trade him for whatever.
It's like you got to be like, yeah, we got Nazar out of it, but it's like that DeBrincat trade was so underwhelming, and
That wasn't the DeBrincat trade. That was the Korchinski trade.
Oh shit, you're right. I got those picks messed up. Never mind. But still, the DeBrincat trade was underwhelming. What we got in return for him.
Yeah, but the situation made sense.
Right.
Like Kaner's not in line to automatically make $9+ million the next year.
That's fair.
I mean, he kind of is, but
3 years, 7. I think 3 years, 7.5.
Yeah, that's what you think.
I think I would offer him that. Maybe go. I would, because you got to think. You got to go to the cap floor.
He's
anyway.
probably gonna get like at least 9.
I think 9. In Chicago, I think he can flirt with 9. Anywhere else, I think it's between like 6 and 7.
That's what he's saying in Chicago.
Because
make that Seth Jones money, bud.
Gotta get to the cap floor. So
true. And they're gonna have a lot less cap hit going towards Duncan Keith's buyout, or not buyout, retirement.
Yeah, that's true too.
Instead of having like almost $7 million in dead cap from Connolly, Borgstrom, and Keith, they're only gonna have closer to like a little over 3. So it's like another $3.5 million to play with.
Dude, for the Hawks to get to the cap floor next year, it's going to be turned into the trivia question of like, hey, do you remember when this guy played for the Blackhawks for a season? Like,
yeah, it's going to be a lot of one-year deals.
Oh man, I can't wait. Cannot wait.
Oh, they can have so much fun with it. But like, also, all you got to do is make it to the cap floor and then be like, hey, we'll take a bad contract or 2.
Give us Phil Kessel. For the love of God. Give us Phil Kessel.
Yeah, that'd be great. If Davidson can pull off another Jason Dickinson type move, where it's like, oh, well, they traded him because they're like, yeah, he's not worth the contract and we need space. And so you make a little move. They got Dickinson and a second rounder in 2024 for Riley Stillman.
I can't believe that. I cannot believe.
Yeah, and Dickinson's been a solid player like the entire season.
Him a lot. He's another guy too. I hope they have him pencil in the future plans a little bit. Like, obviously he's not like a big plan, but like let him stick around at least another year. So I like watching him play.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a big trade chip next season towards the deadline.
Definitely. At 2.6, I mean, that's still a very appealing salary hit.
Yeah, I mean, if you're trading somebody, if you're retaining 50% on anybody that has a 1-year deal right now, like that comes off, and then you have another space for it for the retained salary. But I don't know, man. We'll see.
And I'm sure as soon as we get done recording, there'll be no more news breaking about, Patrick Kane said this and all this kind of stuff. But that was one thing too. The last thing before that, like I have Kane pissy writing down here. It's kind of like he's had a level headed about this whole process, and now that what he probably wanted is no longer an option, he's finally like, "Fuck this!
Yeah.
Like, this is bullshit." Like,
yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
17 days until that trade deadline. Real quick NHL talk. I have 2 things.
Trade talk.
Yeah, NHL. I have 2 things written here. Senko, we already talked about, and the other thing I have is Crosby, bitch.
Oh, well, wait. Let's talk about trade stuff because, Erik Karlsson is somehow tied to Edmonton, and I don't know how they make that work.
They need Edmonton.
He still has 4 years left after this year.
They said that Edmonton or San Jose would need to retain between $4 and $5 million for it to work. And it's a lot more than the 18% that San Jose was saying.
Yeah, and Edmonton would also have to give up like a ton of stuff. You're getting a Norris Trophy winning defenseman who's on a Norris Trophy like type season right now. Did you know he's first overall in even strength points?
Yeah,
it's insane.
How deadly would that overtime be though? Karlsson, McDavid, and Draisaitl.
Just get off the ice already, because like there's no point. they're already paying Darnell Nurse $925. They're, oh my God, man! Like the team would be ridiculous with that with Erik Karlsson, but I just don't know how they fit him in, unless, like you said, like they get him for $7 million somehow. They still need to move out like a ton of other contracts, and then give up what, 2 first rounders, like at least.
I love Carlson, and
Yes,
and I'm gonna say this just because it's Edmonton, but I hope if Edmonton does pull this off and they just give out the bag to get him, and he goes back to the Carlson of like the past couple seasons, and
that's
just
not happening.
I just because it's Edmonton, I would fucking love it. It would be so great. Just a big fuck you, and McDavid will just that would just be McDavid. Like, I'm out. I need to leave. Like, get me rid of like.
Jesus.
I just don't know.
Did,
Yeah, is he gonna be? Is he still gonna be the guy though? Like, that's the thing. It's like I don't know.
was Evander Kane in San Jose when Carlson was there? Are
Yep.
they gonna reunite the Kane and Carlson? Yeah, EKs. There's the EKs.
Oh.
Funny.
We just got a bunch of sticks from San Jose, and then we had EK9 and EK65, and I'm like, Vander Kane never did the EK9 on his stick until he started playing with Carlson. Like, what a copycat bitch.
Yeah, what a tool. Yeah, and then there's the Chikrin rumors that we kind of mentioned before.
Fucking nuts. What's going on with that?
Well, some yesterday they came out and said that like LA was like in the process of completing a trade for him, and it was centered around their first rounder of Brandt Clark that they had, who was like
Overall
8th
pick
overall.
in 2020.
But like it was gonna be him plus, and it's just like, oh God. And then LA had to come out and tell Brandt Clark that he's not being traded. Be like,
It was funny, like the LA Kings insider goes on Twitter and was like, "Hey, taking a break from my wife giving birth to twins just to say this isn't happening. All right, see ya." Like, I was
oh God.
like how fucked up is that situation that you have to take a break from your wife giving birth to say, "Hey, no, that's not happening. That's not real." But it's like, I mean, Arizona did, I mean, again, kind of like McCabe, where it's like you don't have to trade him and you can hold out. Like, Arizona doesn't have to fucking trade him, and they should be asking for the world for him because he's fucking worth it. He's a young player who is on a very manageable cap hit for the next 2 seasons. Like,
yeah, I mean, there was all this talks last year about it, and they didn't pull the trigger. Like, there's nothing different about it this year that they need to pull the trigger unless something is absolutely like amazing kind of return.
there was Toronto was also linked to him, I think.
Yeah.
And then there's one other team. Was it Edmonton?
Probably.
I don't know. There's one other team, and they both those teams were like, yeah, no, it's not us. We're out because he's been healthy scratched. I don't think he's playing again until the trade deadline.
He's definitely not playing tonight.
Yeah, they announced he's not playing tonight. So it's like you typically only see that when a deal's close. So
but I think they're probably just like, we're gonna play it very safe.
Somebody's bullshitting here. Somebody's pulling everybody's ass here. Like, I don't know. But yeah, so dude, things are gonna get crazy right now. And just like the Carlson stuff and the Kane stuff, it's just like the most interesting thing about this is how these teams are gonna make it work with the cap and everything, because every team is just up against that cap, and you got to get creative to make this happen.
Yeah, I mean, off the top of my head, I can't really think of like what are the worst contracts in the league currently on teams that are playoff bound. Like,
I think teams that are playoff bound the reason they're playoff bound is because they've been smart with their money and they've been paying players what they deserve.
So, I don't know. I'm excited. It's just a countdown, and I know I'm waiting for like just like the notification every day that like some huge trade has happened, like the Tarasenko one, which was exciting.
I may take off work Friday, that trade deadline day, just in case something crazy goes, so we can hop on or something really quick. Like, I'm
not. I'm already scheduled to work.
Very much debating that.
That's funny.
Yeah, the last thing. Okay, so my last thing is the Crosby's a bitch, and everybody was saying good on Crosby for. Just, if you don't know what we're talking about, Zegers takes the puck in, then got blown offsides, and he spins like he's about to shoot the puck, but clearly whiffs it because he's not a dick. He's not going to shoot the puck after the whistle at the goalie. Crosby goes up and just does a drive-by little shoulder bump, and then turns around and starts chirping at Zegras, and people are like, good for Crosby, put that kid in his place. Dude, he didn't do anything.
Yeah, he's spun.
He spun, yeah. Like what is your problem? And then Crosby in that game for the first time in his career, got kicked out of a game.
Yeah, I was gonna say that it was a career first game misconduct.
He is on a downward spiral. He is out of control.
He's losing it.
I don't know. I just think Crosby's a little bitch about that. Everybody's like, good on him. Fuck that. No, that's so stupid. That is so soft.
That's soft.
It's a Crosby soft move. Like,
classic.
Man. But all right, you got anything else?
Dylan Cousins signed a big ticket, like 7 years, 7.1 million. And I think Buffalo, I mean, I kind of shat on him for doing 7 years. For the Toews Thompson deal, and like that's just turned out to be great. And I don't even think it starts till next year.
Toews Thompson is next year. Yeah.
Buffalo is putting themselves in a pretty good place. It's just now that all they need is actual goaltending.
They need a good goalie and make like one more like top 6 forward, I think.
Yeah, they got Toews Thompson at 7.142857, and then Dylan Cousins at 7.1. Jesus, those are really good cap hits for. I mean, Toews Thompson already is like top 10 in the league in points right now. Dylan Cousins is only 22. He's got 44 points in 50 games, having a good season.
I was about to say talk about bad contract, but you're talking about playoff bound teams. I'll say the Jeff Skinner contract is definitely up there, but
it's not. It's got its years when it's bad. He's over a point per game this year so far.
He's feeling it. Is it just like every other year, every 2 years or something like that?
Yeah, pretty much. He has like a down season like every other year or so. It's really weird. Yeah, man. That's about it though.
All right, well, it's episode 212. What do you want to call it?
I don't know. Fuck. I should always be more prepared, and I don't. I just choose not to be. I don't know. It's just all about trade rumors. That's what it should be called. It's all about trade rumors.
All about trade rumors. Okay. All about them rumors. I'm saying all about them rumors. That's shorter.
Yeah.
All right, episode 212. All about them rumors. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. YouTube is getting bumped up in numbers lately. It's really interesting. So,
cool.
All right.
That's good.
Yeah. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow. Subscribe to the Spotify, Apple Podcast, 5-star review, Apple Podcast, Spotify, social media at WCB Podcast, and yeah, we will see you on the next one.
All right, love you, boys. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the WCB Podcast. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast. To connect with Jarom and Tanner, check out the boys at WCB Podcast on all social media. We'll see you next time.